Yeah, because so many times there can be a leak that came from the outer wall that travels down a floor that travels down the joist and ends up in a finished basement drywall area about 5 feet away.
So whenever I look at a case like that in a bed, it's a good example. I looked at one there just a while back now, but they had an unfinished basement. The microbial growth was on the joist. We treated that, and then they called me, I don't know, maybe a month later, and so we've got it on. It came back. I said, it came back already? And they said, yeah. Well, it wasn't there that they were talking about because we cleaned it. So the sequence is kill it, then you peroxide is a good thing to do it with, not bleach necessarily. But that's sequence killed. But no, it was on the finished part. It was on the drywall, and it was all along the wall. I said, like you just said, let's go look at it was an exterior wall. Let's go look at the outside of it. So what they had on the outside of it, you know how some windows are below grade, right? And they'll put wells in. Well, they didn't put a cover on this well. So when it rains, it can fill up like a swimming pool, go down into behind the drywall. And that's what happened in this particular case. So whenever you look at an interior wall, go look at on the outside. You'll find it.
Okay. Yeah. But, you're Columbo, you're pieced together the clues and get to the heart of the problem. And we've seen that before. Where is this water coming from? We are a tenant that, so I got this leak. The roof is leaking. Sent a roofer over there. They could finally say he was dumping 5-gallon buckets of water on corners and flashings and shit. We couldn't recreate the leak. It would rain. Send the roofer there. No leaks, no problem. And then the tenant calls in. Well, it's leaking again. We're like, well, tell us what did you do today? What happened? What is it? Well, I took a shower and it was a valve behind the wall that was leaking. It looked like the roof because the valve was on an exterior wall near the roof. And so it took us a while to track that down. We assumed it was one thing, we're told one, and then it was something else that could have been a roof leak, but it wasn't.
Yep.
So stop that water source. You can stop the mold.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to look and sift and maybe even knock out some drywall or take a look to see things.
And the longer you've been doing it, the easier it gets to spot because you start to see similar patterns.
And if you recall a time when maybe someone been quoted big dollars or you went to a project and your solution saved them a ton of money compared to what they were told what they thought it was going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, just recently I did a job for the guy he said, when you left here, I researched the crap out of this stuff. He said, it works. He said, it kills everything. It kills, don't panic, but he said it kills, when he meant everything, he meant mold, biological growth, germs, E. coli, all that stuff. He said it kills all the living. That's why you don't want any pest, people, or plants in the house. But I said, yeah, you did a lot of research on this, huh? And I said, weren't you in the medical field? And he said, yeah, I'm a biomedical engineer. So it's good to get that validation from customers that technical people or, back it up. And they liked it. And that's my favorite kind of customer, somebody who asks me those questions. And we can have a discussion about it. That's what I like doing. But he also told me he had a friend who had an $80,000 quote for getting rid of the mold. And he said the restoration company wanted to come in. They wanted to take each piece of furniture out, treat it with ozone, and then bring it back. And we couldn't figure out for the life of us why they wanted to take it off site to treat it. Why not just treat it there on site? And he said, well, I don't know if I do it that way. So I've seen estimates from $2,500 on the low end. And then I just saw one recently for over $100,000. And why? Because my opinion, there's a lot of solutions that are superfluous, ancillary. They don't address the situation in the first place. They don't even address the water issue sometimes. And it's what you want to look at it. And is the root cause to get that to stop. And then what really kills it is the ozone gas.
So that would lead me to ask you, where do your services begin and where do your services end?
So, the services begin when I walk out there and take a look at their property and try to find out what's going on with the situation. Now, I also work with contractors because sometimes there's water intrusion and they have to get the work done. And so I find contractors that have done work for me, my clients, people that I can recommend, because not only do people get taken advantage of in my industry, they get taken advantage of in the contracting industry. As you guys know, you can say, go find a contractor. Well, how long does it take you to find a good contract that you can count on? So I have people that I work with, contractors, and I say, look, I've got no skin in the game. if you want to use them, all the reason I'm recommending them is because I know them. They've done work for me, my family, my clients. And so that's part of the service. If they need to get drywall ripped out, if they need to get a new roof put on because of it. So my part, I guess you could say, really doesn't end just at the remediation, but I'd like to be a good referral source for them. And I work with the contractors. I know them. They know what I need to.